When I need to impress someone with a gift, I go straight to 1-800-Flowers. There's a reason they've spent 50 years as the floral authority. Every stem is hand-selected by a vetted florist, and with same-day delivery nationwide, 100% satisfaction guaranteed. That's why millions go to 1-800-Flowers to celebrate life's most important moments. Order now for up to 40% off. Don't miss out on this limited-time offer. Act now and save up to 40% at 1-800-Flowers.com/podcast. That's 1-800-Flowers.com/podcast.
Crystal, how many national parks have you been to?
Oh, everyone's going to love my answer. 0.
Really?
None. No.
You've never been to one national park?
No.
Oh,
Nope.
my goodness. This is going to be so
there aren't
fun.
any in Illinois. Are there really like my trail of
You've got Shenandoah
travel
next to you
Oh,
right now.
right. And they have the colors, they have the caves, but now I'm okay looking at the pictures.
You the Blue Ridge Parkway,
Oh, yeah.
and it
haven't been to
takes
that
from
either.
Shenandoah all the way down to Smoky Mountain National Park.
Oh,
Yes.
Shenandoah. I
And
hear commercials of all of these things, like TV, radio. I've heard these words.
Indiana Dunes is a new national park
Oh, the
near
sand dunes.
Chicago.
I have been then. So in the
Did
summer,
you go to the
summer
state
camp,
park?
the sand dunes. I've been to the Indiana sand dunes.
Yeah, that's the state park, I think,
See,
which is
there we
right
go.
next door. Yeah.
One. I knew
See-
someone would know if I've been.
You're close. Well, on today's show, we're going to chat with a friend who visits lots of national parks as we begin exploring this section of the travel world, which I get so excited about. We're going to begin our discussion of some of the best and brightest stars in the national park system with her. She's one of the women behind our favorite conference every year, FinCon.
Top
And now TravelCon. You're representing us at
Yes.
TravelCon.
Yes, I will be. Yes. I'll be moderating a panel. I actually just found out a few minutes ago via email. So that's
How
gonna be
about that?
exciting.
Wow, that's cool. Congratulations.
Thank you.
By the way, congratulations are also in order for something else.
Oh, yes. OH.
Your Ohio State Buckeyes.
It feels good to be national
IO.
champions.
I just say IO there, didn't I?
Yeah, there you go. There you go.
You're welcome.
You-
I'll do
you
that
dropped the
once
ball.
just for you, just because we're
Yeah,
friends.
We appreciate it, Mr. Michigan. We're gonna
No,
beat you guys
not Michigan.
this year.
I'm
That's
not
what-
Michigan.
Right, you are
Stop.
not Michigan, but you're still the state. You're the other Michigan.
I detest them almost as much as I detest your
Okay.
Buckeyes. So,
Well, good. No harm, no foul.
but what happens at the end of every episode, Crystal?
Well, what did you say the guest name?
I don't know if I did or not.
I don't
We'll
think
say it
you
in just a
did.
second. It's Libby Gifford.
Woohoo! Okay. And now we go to, at the end of this episode, and every episode, you'll hear our gear of the day pick. If you're looking for best in class gear that's worth the price, head to our Amazon page at stackingadventures.com/GOTD, which stands for Gear of the Day. You'll help the show and you'll help yourself adventure better and for less money.
Ready for adventure? From vacation to staycation, and from the mountains to the beach. This is the Stacking Adventures podcast.
Welcome back to the Stacking Adventures podcast, everybody, where we head around the world with our adventure community. Every traveler has a story, and we want to hear yours. And today we're hearing Crystal, a good friend story.
Yes. So we have our friend Libby Gifford here, and she's
You ready?
Oh yeah. Did you hear me?
No, I'm saying, are you ready? Let's introduce her.
Oh duh, yes.
Here we go.
Bam.
Look who's here.
So we have Libby, the Libby Gifford, since the Ohio State University just won the national championship. You're all going to be introduced to these. Actually, speaking of these, have you Googled yourselves? Are you the only Libby Gifford? And Joe, are you the only Joe Salsi High?
There is another Libby Gifford, and the last time I
Huh.
Googled her, she had just won the top award for whatever the Girl Scouts can get. Like she'd sold all these
Wow.
cookies, she's won all these things. But that was like 10 years ago, so I guess maybe she's older now. But yeah, there's one more
Huh.
out there.
Interesting.
Well, you can claim that prize now, Libby. Just pretend you're her.
Yeah, I
Do you
can't.
know who I am? I won the Girl Scouts top award.
Google me.
We were joking over on the Stacking Benjamins podcast that we're going to put on our description of Stacking Benjamins, and Crystal, we can do this with Stacking Ventures too. We can say hosted by the 2006 Times Person of the Year. Because, you know, Time Magazine in 2006 said that we are all the person of the year.
You.
Like you.
I'm going to put that on my resume. What year? 2006?
Yes.
That totally describes me.
There's only 2 Celsi highs on Earth, Crystal. There's just Cheryl and I. Yes, there's only 2.
There's a criminal, Crystal Hammond, and I've been following all of her drama. Every time a court case pops up, I'm like, what'd she do now?
I like how you pretend it's somebody else.
No, it's not me. Not me.
Well, Libby, you and I, every time we meet, we have our national park. Which one are you going to next? Like, what are we doing next? How'd you like it? What made you start going to national parks?
My parents started taking me as early as I can remember. We did that for family vacations for a lot of years. And my grandparents were full-time campers after they retired for like 20 years. So in addition to going with my parents, I went with my grandparents. So I like to say I'm a legacy national park person.
That's a good way to put it.
Yeah, but on your own, there's some kids that, you know, they're like, oh, I did that growing up, so I don't want to do it anymore. You clearly followed through and kept doing it. What made you keep doing it?
Well, I love being outdoors. I love that we've set this aside as protected land. And I think it just, I don't know, it fills me up a little bit. And my sister and I decided a full-time RV for a year or two. And we thought, what is going to be our motivation with that other than just it's cool to do it? And we decided that national parks would be the tent poles of that travel experience. So we built initially 1 year around that, and then it turned into 4.5 of doing national parks. So those were, I mean, we went lots of other places as well, but the national parks were sort of like the big destinations that kind of determined where we went from year to year.
How did you fit that into your everyday, day-to-day life with work and like parenting or, family?
Yeah, so I'm single and my sister was single at the time. And so we both worked remotely. So when we were traveling, and we did sort of slow travel, so we would get to a place and stay for a week to 2 weeks. So that way we just took the pressure off of like, we can do our work hours and then we can feel like, hey, we can just pop into the park in the evening hours, or the next day, maybe we're going to go for the sunrise in the morning. So it was never like a full day gung-ho experience, except maybe on a weekend, or flexing our schedule so that we could maybe go in with a tent and camp overnight in the park instead of taking an RV. We took the slow travel approach. But then again, every once in a while, we would be like, hey, this is a tiny park. It's on our way to the next destination. Let's just do a quick pop in and do like as many hours in this day as we can do and then pop out. So we kind of hit the extremes in that way.
See, I like that.
But if it's small, why not? I mean, some of the parks that I've been to and you've been to that you and I have talked about, maybe we'll hit a couple of them here. You can easily do it in a day. You can do some of these parks. Crystal and I were talking about Indiana Dunes. Indiana Dunes is a park you could do in just a few hours.
Right. Yeah. And like in a couple of weeks, I'm going on a road trip out towards the Southwest, and like White Sands. I love White Sands, but it doesn't require a lot of you. So anytime I'm within like 2 hours, I just add it to my road trip. And I'm like, you know what? It's worth it for a 2-hour pop in. It's worth it to catch a sunrise there. Mm-hmm. So I do that too. You know, it's just like, I've been to these parks and I know the ones I love. If I'm anywhere close, why not build it in? That's sort of my philosophy.
The pictures, by the way, that you and I both have taken of sunrise and sunset at White Sands. Yeah. That's a gorgeous place to take some amazing shots.
Yes, it is. It is. Mm-hmm.
Let's talk about White Sands for a minute. So this is a park in New Mexico, right?
Oh,
mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah. And it's one of our newer national parks. But what's interesting about this park, Crystal, is that it's got this great cryptic name. There's all kinds of white sand there.
No.
I know. Shut up. And there's sand all over the place. But what's wild is when you go at the front where the store is, right there where you're getting in, they sell these, or you can rent sleds, which I was told to do. And you can also get this greasy stuff to put on the bottom of the sled to make it slick so you can sled down the dunes like it's winter and you're in you're somewhere.
It's so fun. It's fun.
Huh.
It isn't. It wasn't fun at all, Libby.
You didn't think
I
so?
was gonna ask, what is there to do?
No, you know what happened? So
no.
So
It's gonna get good.
I rent the sled. I rent the greasy stuff. I grease the thing up. I go up to the top of the dune, which takes forever because you can't move in all this sand. I get to the top. I point my sled down. My fat ass is way too heavy. I am way too heavy, and that thing would not move no matter what I did.
Oh, man.
I could not. I'm watching these kids go, and here's Fat Butt Joe.
F equals MA.
I will say I had a similar experience, and so I just kept going until I found a steeper dune. And then I was like, oh, I'm flying now. Now I'm flying. But the problem with that is then you have to walk all the way back up that steep dune in order to do it again and again and again. And that, walking in that sand will wear you out.
It is. It's a workout. It is a workout. What a beautiful park.
Here's what I'm going to say. Yes, here's what I'll say about White Sands and the parks in general. Science was my worst subject in school. I hated it. It was like the worst grades. Going to the parks as an adult, all of a sudden I love science. And the park that did that to me was White Sands. I did a ranger talk, which I always promote. Go do a ranger talk. Sometimes you'll get a boring ranger. Okay. But if you get a good one, it is so worth it. The ranger talk at White Sands was amazing because I learned that's not actually sand, it's gypsum. And so it will not stick to your clothes. So I don't know if you remember this, but when you're there and you're doing all that sledding, you don't get any on your clothes like when you go to the beach. And then they teach you all this other things, like all of White Sands is sitting on a water basin. If you dig down any number of feet anywhere in that park, no matter how tall the dune, you will hit water. Now that all sounds boring if you just tell me that, but when I'm in the park and the ranger's digging the hole and he's putting the water and he's telling you about this gypsum, I'm like, whoa, I need to go back to science class, you know?
Well, because when you're out here, Libby, you're in the middle of nowhere and there's just sand everywhere. The fact that there's water right below you just blows your mind.
Yes.
And you can't feel it.
Yeah. So, and the gypsum's cold. It's always cold. So again, it's like, that's another thing I love about the parks. There's always something to learn, and it enlightens me to something I thought was boring or not interesting. Yeah. And now I'm like, give me more science facts. Let me be a science nerd, because these parks are hands-on in that way sometimes, if you allow them to be.
Yeah, no, and the ranger talks, always make time for the ranger talks. And by the way, when our kids were younger, doing the junior ranger stuff at every park, and they get all the cool stickers and things, worth it. In fact, even after our kids got older, Cheryl and I, Libby, I don't know if your sister you did this, we did some of the junior ranger stuff because it was so fun.
Yes, and I just went at Thanksgiving. I took my niece to Big Bend, which, by the way, I think they have the best junior ranger programs. They have the basic one and all these extra books, and that's all she was into, was the books. And you can earn extra patches there. And she was teaching me stuff, so she was like my little junior ranger, giving me all the facts while we were driving around. I was like, the junior ranger program is very fun. I think it's a cool thing they've developed.
A Big Bend National Park in the south of Texas. This was a park that when I went to this park, Libby, I didn't know what to expect. We went on Memorial Day weekend, which people say by then the park is closing up for the summer because, Crystal, it gets so hot there and so dangerous. They don't open it for the entire summer. So it was the last weekend the park was open. A lot of the stuff was already closed. Libby, that park was... we're going to talk about parks that are surprising. That park surprised the hell out of me. It was so cool.
Me too. And it feels like a couple parks packed into one because you've got two different climates going on there. I love that park. And it has some very fun hikes as well. And like for any age person, you can do a good drive through that park and now you have to get out of your car and still see beauty. Yeah, that park really, that was on my list of parks that surprised me.
Well, let's talk about a couple of things while we're dabbling here about Big Bend. A couple of things I liked. There was a homestead you could walk around, an old homestead. I don't know if you and your sister did that, or you and your niece did this, but you got out of your car and you walked around this place. It was this abandoned old farm, Crystal, and you felt like you were transported back to the cowboys days, like the mid 1800s. And they still have the windmill with a couple of the little wind pieces gone. I don't remember if the house was actually still there, but there was ruins of house and barns, and that was pretty wild. We also did, the park itself is a mountain range. it's a tiny mountain range. Like it is this little self-contained, what do they call the Chisos Mountains, I think?
Yeah, the Chisos Mountains.
And so Cheryl and I did the all-day hike where you hike up to the top, which is these back and forth it burns going up this to the top. Yes,
I've done that. That was hard. It was hard.
But once you get to the top, then it's fairly flat. I mean, you can go to the top up some of the mountains on the top, but there's almost like a mesa on the top where it's fairly flat. And we did the rim all the way around the rim of the mountain hike, which was amazing, seeing all the different ecosystems around the top of the mountain. Those were a couple of my favorites. What were yours?
I love that it's a dark sky park. So some national parks are also dark sky. So the sky's protected. All light has to be pointed down or has to be red light. And it's the largest dark sky section of the world, the largest. Wow. So I have never seen stars like I've seen them in Big Bend, and they have a lot of programs around that. And I've been twice. The first time I was like, I'll just skip these dark sky programs these rangers do. But this most recent time with my niece, I thought she'd be into that. And that was such a cool experience. They understand about stargazing. They bring out these huge telescopes. You have to like climb a ladder to get into to be able to look at the sky. I mean, it was just really majestic. I don't use that word very often, but I love the dark sky program that they have there. I also there's a really cool hike that runs along, it's called the Santa Elena Canyon, and it's part of the Rio Grande River. And it's a very fun hike that just tracks along the river there. And wow. I like the vegetation and the foliage that Big Bend has, all that desert stuff I'm into. So it's a unique park. It took my breath away. Like when I drove into that park for the first time and see the huge scenic view, I was just really shocked that was out in West Texas.
It's one of the only places where I've driven over 100 miles an hour and I wasn't worried about it because you can see forever. And there was no car. There was not another car.
Goodness.
And by the way, Libby, were you thinking about saying while you're doing the dark sky program, did you start singing "The Stars at Night Are Big and Bright"? Deep in the heart of Texas.
It wasn't me. Someone did.
Yeah.
But everybody clapped.
I was going to say it's not a highly visited park. So I enjoyed that. Like a lot of these parks are super saturated. And while it was busy, I was there at their peak season this year. And it was like, it was a little struggle to find a parking spot. But after 10 minutes, I could. And that was a really breath of fresh air when it came to the national park system. Not right now, because a lot of them are just overpacked, and that was nice about Big Bend. You got to work to get there, and not everybody wants to put in that work.
It is a ton of work to get there.
Yeah, when is peak? When it was considered peak season?
Peak is there. They say peak is Thanksgiving week. Because the weather is just now hitting like the 70s, and then it's really cold at night, and that part gets super hot, like 75% of the year. So
when we went, it hit 114 degrees.
What? So then, okay, how do you prepare for this? Because I'm hoping you have a lot of snacks, because that's what's first on my mind. And I know it's probably speaks to what kind of gear too.
Yeah, we had tons of water with us, Libby.
Yeah. I just load up, like I have some huge water jugs, and I just always keep them loaded in the car. And just wear the right kind of clothes to breathe in. And take a break. That's the thing. Take breaks.
There's a state park next door, and it was a company that did a kayaking adventure down the Rio Grande River.
I want to do that.
And so that was the day it hit 114, and I was kayaking with my butt in the canoe or in the kayak, but both feet were on either side out in the water because it was so damn hot. And it was great, by the way, to be kayaking down the river half in the water was fantastic. Yeah.
I would love to do that. That's
Me
something
too.
I haven't been able to do. The water's always low because I go in the fall. So I need to make a spring trip and get in on the kayaking or the rafting.
Well, one thing too, before we move on, when you talked about the parks being crowded, I had a gentleman at one of the parks, it might've been at Yellowstone, who told me a rule that besides the most very popular, super easy hikes have always been true. And I don't know, Libby, if you found this to be true, but it has been for me. He called it the 100-yard rule, which is it's hard to get a parking spot. It's hard to see the stuff along the road. But if you can just find one of these trails and get 100 yards off the road, it's it's horrible, but hardly anybody gets out of their damn car. I mean,
Right.
So once you get 100 yards down a trail, usually you're fairly, secluded and get the park much more to yourself.
Yeah, I agree with that. I've never heard it in those terms, but yeah, I agree with that. And two things we kind of live by when it came to park busyness is a lot of people don't come in before 9 a.m. and a lot of people leave by 3 to 4. And there's a lot of good time in that 3 to 4 window. Like usually the weather is cooled off where you are. And those are some good, like 3 or 4 hours. You can still get a lot done. And a lot of people, the park is just emptying out by that time. So I either get up real early and try to leave a park by 10 or go in late in the afternoon. And it's a lot better. And a lot of these parks that are on reservation system now to get in, even a lot of those reservations end by 3 or 4. So I kind of try to like book in my day and then maybe take the breaks in the middle. The other thing is if you look close enough or if you ask the right ranger, they will tell you there are a lot of back roads or off-roading. And I always had like a truck or a high level vehicle. And those are some of the coolest things and no one's on them. I've been to several parks where it's like, okay, I saw on this park map, there is a dirt road back here. What happens if I take that? And we won't see anyone. We won't see anyone else, and that's some of my favorite things because you're seeing the park and you feel like you're the only one there and you're away from the crowds.
The only place I would not do that for Cheryl's 50th birthday, she wanted to go to Death Valley National Park.
I like Death Valley.
Yeah, I love Death Valley, but there's no way in hell I'm going down that dirt road by myself because you hear all the stories. They tell you the stories of all the people that go down those dirt roads and nobody goes down for 3 or 4 days and there's dead people.
I would only do it in Death Valley is an extreme environment. And so I'm like, I wouldn't do it there. I definitely wouldn't do it there.
Yeah, that is the only place. And I was freaking out by 10:30 every day. I was like, we got to go back to the hotel. Like we got to.
It's time.
Yes. Yeah. We get out there early. It was nice. But by 10:30 in the morning, it was hitting like 90, 95 degrees and it was about to get hotter. And
what time of year were you there?
We were there late September.
Oh, yeah. Okay. I was there in like early November. And so it wasn't hot, but it was windy. I mean, I remember there was a sandstorm so bad. We just went into our camper and all you could see was just brown on the window. I mean, It was like, and every day midday was like that. And I was like, okay, we will not be going into Death Valley in the daytime.
I was surprised by how much I liked it, though. I'm glad to hear you really liked it too.
It was also on my surprising list. I thought it felt like 3 or 4 parks packed into one because 100%. It had so many different regions that's got the dunes, it's got the salt flats, it's got that painted desert area, a lot of different things. And also not as visited. I feel like it wasn't very saturated with people. We could get where we wanted with no problems.
We went on
Death Valley.
Death Valley's in California, right where California meets Nevada. It truly is not that far from Las Vegas.
Yeah, that I was thinking.
But it does take, you have to decide that's where you're going. I mean, it's like, but any way you get to it is like 2-lane little highways and you got to be going there to go there, and I think it's worth it, but it's not easy to get to, honestly.
Not many gas stations around either. No. I mean, you really got to plan.
How?
You do have to plan your gasoline. There was one time where we thought
smart.
we made a mistake and let a gas station go by and we shouldn't have done that.
Also, electric vehicles probably too.
Oh, electric vehicles. I didn't think about that. Yeah.
Don't do it.
We took a Hummer trip while we were there into one of the canyons. And there were in some places on one side, a sheer wall, on the other side, these 500 to 1,000 foot drops with this guy. And by the way, I'm sitting in the back seat and this retired police officer who is our guide. He keeps Crystal looking back at me while he's talking and Cheryl's sitting next to him just freaking out because if he hits something wrong, we are going over the cliff. But he didn't care at all. But we went back into one of these canyons and there was an old settlement back there where these shysters seeded silver into these mines. They took a little silver and they put them in the mines. And then they told people that somebody had struck silver And in California, they talked about how you can take a riverboat right out to this place, and people went and moved there sight unseen. They sold them lots in this canyon, and people went there sight unseen. It's one of the biggest cons ever.
Suckers. Yeah,
it got big enough for a 1.5 year period. I think it was, they actually had a post office, and I don't remember the name of the town, but out in the middle of nowhere, there was this national park signage, which told the story. And we were going on these really difficult roads to get through these canyons to get to this place. And then here's this ghost town and all of these signs talking about this is where the post office was, where the general store was. Wow. These are the mines. You could still see the mines. And of course the people came there and they immediately struck it rich, they thought, because they started finding silver right away. But then behind that silver, which had been planted there was no more. I don't know if you made it there, Libby, but
no, yeah. I didn't. I did not make it there.
Well, I want to go back because there's so much to see. Yeah. I didn't realize how much there was to see.
And I think like a lot of the parks too, in the Death Valley area in general, there's a lot of stuff because like a lot of parks have other things around them. If like they'll have a national forest that's amazing. They'll have other areas that are really similar to what you're seeing in the park. And Death Valley has a lot of that too. Like there's other stuff in that area. So I want to go back to Death Valley for itself and then the surrounding stuff as well.
You could spend forever.
Can we have FinCon Forest? Because we had ski, we had beach. Let's do FinCon Forest.
We'll be close with Portland next year. We'll be close. It's Portland adjacent. I mean, it's forest adjacent up there.
Okay.
We're going to go, by the way, with FinCon. Cheryl and I and some friends are going to go, and we're going to get Crater Lake National Park done.
Great. I love Crater Lake. That's on my list of surprising parks. Like I thought, I'm going to get out there. It's this big lake, whatever, you know. And listen, I should never underestimate the parks because I do think every park has something worth seeing, even if it's all about how you perceive it, right?
And they're so different.
Yes, they are. But Crater Lake, again, that's another park. You got to go to that park to be going there. It's like 4 hours away from anything. I have never seen water that is so beautiful. I have never felt water that is so cold. And it just was like, this is amazing. Also, hardest hike I've ever done in a national park. It's like
I was about to ask you if you hiked around it.
Yeah. So there's one hike down to the water. There's only one way you touch the water there, and it's 1,000 feet elevation drop in 1 mile. So that's a lot of switchbacks.
Holy.
And I brought my hiking poles. I had just bought them. I was so glad. And they have benches along the whole trail because I know it's going to be awful, but it is so worth it to put your feet in the water. And there's like a big boulder that everyone jumps off of. And it's just a really fun experience once you get down there because the lake is so far down. Like when it's a crater made from a volcano. So you're up high when you drive all the way around it. And so you take this trail all the way down. I definitely do that, Joe. Definitely take the trail.
Yeah, it even looks like the caldera. It totally looks like the mouth of the volcano. Yeah, really. Cool. We were on our way there, and we went cross country skiing while we were out there at this resort that was very close to it. We thought it was close to it. It turned out we had another hour drive. Then we had to go around the lake to the other side to get in, and it took so long to cross country ski that by the time we went into Crater Lake, it was snowing like hell. We were almost out of gas. I wasn't sure. And the Ranger store had already closed. And they said on their website, the gas station's also going to be closed. And my son, by the way, who's been there, who was with us, he was like, no, we can find somebody to open up the gas station for us. He goes, they'll open. I'm like, I'm not gonna risk that they're gonna open up a gas station for me because I'm praying. And the snow's coming down. So we ended up we were on the road into Crater Lake National Park at 5 p.m. and we ended up turning around. And
that hurts my heart. And I'm so sorry.
Made it all the way there. Yeah, that wasn't great. Okay, we have completely abandoned ship on our format. Which is fine.
This is great.
It's fine.
Every traveler has a story, and Libby's got stories. Let's talk about your favorite park. What's the favorite?
Okay. I'm going to give 2 honorable mentions. This is a difficult question. My honorable mention is Glacier. Glacier is my honorable mention because I think it has something for everyone and is accessible for people at all levels, from sitting in your car to doing a rigorous backcountry hike. and fun wildlife. My other honorable mention.
Wait
a minute.
In Montana.
Can we spend some time on Glacier before you go on to your others?
Montana?
Yeah, Glacier's in Montana. It's like right up close to the Canadian border.
Oh, by Canada.
Yeah.
We did a trip, Crystal, that was Glacier National Park, and we spent a couple days there. We stayed at both of the lodges that were there, Glacier Lodge, and I don't remember the name of the other one. But the other one I liked better.
How expensive are the lodges?
They weren't terribly expensive. I believe it was in the $130, $140 a night to be right there.
And their showers, right?
In one, we actually were not in the lodge proper. We were actually in a cabin that was almost like a duplex cabin. We could hear the people in the room next to us, the other half of the cabin, but we had our own spot. But the other one was so pretty. If I knew you were going to say Glacier, I would have looked up the name of this lodge. But this is on the west side where we came in, and then Many Glaciers on the east side. We stayed there too. Many Glacier is beautiful. It supposedly looks like Switzerland. It looks really cool, like a Swiss chalet, but it's so run down. Damn. I don't know if you went inside Many Glacier. It was very pretty.
Both of those lodges I think are really nice, and I think Glacier has some of the coolest like village life within it. Like they have all these little cabins you can stay in, a little walkable area of the park. They've done a great job of developing places for people to stay and eat there at that park.
Glacier is so popular though, Crystal. You have to. Now the rooms are not expensive, but they go very quickly. Maybe because they're not that expensive. So at the first lodge, we got a nice room, inside this cabin. At Many Glacier, we were in this awkward end of a hall because it was like the last room they had left when we booked. And so we had these two twin beds that were weird. I had to climb across Cheryl's bed to get to my bed, and it was freezing. It was just, the room was freezing at the end of the hallway. Not great, but the hiking there, Libby, hiking.
I was gonna say Glacier has it has great hiking. I mean, so much hiking at any level. If you want to hike to see a waterfall, if you want to hike to see a lake, if you want to hike to see a glacial lake, if you want to hike to be alongside some billy goats in the wildlife, if you want to,
they don't kick, do they?
No, but the wildlife there will just walk on the road. They just like walk on the road, and they don't care about you. Yeah. Did you enjoy some hiking there, Joe?
My favorite hike of all time is there. It was the Grinnell Glacier hike.
I haven't done that one. My sister did that one though.
It was so beautiful. It starts at the Many Glacier Lodge. You make sure that you book the boat, because you can take a boat to the end of the first lake. That same ticket, by the way, then you go across a little isthmus to a second lake. And by the way, everybody on the boat has tickets for both boats. So even your captain gets off the boat and captains the second boat. Cool. You get off the boat, you go to the second lake, then you walk across that. And then when you get to the far side, you can walk up with the ranger, or Cheryl and I hike a little faster than the ranger did. In fact, when we were on our way back, and I believe this was all told like a 14, 15 mile hike. It was a long hike.
Wow.
But when we were on our way back, the ranger-led team was only about 2/3 of the way up, because the ranger was stopping and explaining everything, and we were. But it's super cool, because in the distance you see this beautiful lake, and as you start hiking up one of the mountain walls over on the right side, the north side, you get a beautiful view of the lake and how blue the water was below. But this lake is fed by this beautiful waterfall. And you're like, I bet we're walking to that waterfall. And at one point, you get to a point in the trail for a while, and a couple people were really freaked out by this. It is, again, like 1,000-foot drop if you step 2 steps to your left, and 1,000 feet up with a sheer wall to your right, and people freaking out. There's only 2 other hikes where I've seen people freaking out more: Angel's Landing at Zion, and Half Dome. Doing the thing at the end of Half Dome. But I thought we were going to that waterfall. You're not going to that waterfall. You're actually going up that mountain, past the waterfall, to this beautiful glacier that looks like it's got ice cubes in it, Crystal, of these
Crystal geyser.
Yeah, of all the little pieces of glacier in the lake. It was really neat.
That's cool.
Super hike.
There's a lot of great hikes there. There's one, I don't remember the name of it, but you do 5 waterfalls along the way. So it kind of like brings you up in elevation. So you're hitting all these different falls, and they're all kind of different. Like one is like a gorge type waterfall. One is just like huge and wide and water's everywhere. And so is an interesting hike. But I would also say we cannot talk about Glacier without talking about the scenic drive there. There's a thing called Going to the Sun Road, and it's like a small 2-lane road that winds up through these mountains, kind of following a river that's way down in the valley. And it is gorgeous. Like there's really not a lot of ways to describe it. It's just gorgeous. And you get to the peak and there's like a lodge and a visitor center, and you can take a lot of hikes from there. Like one of the most popular hikes is the Highline hike that then kind of goes up through those mountains. It's gorgeous. That drive is gorgeous. And one fun tip, I've never done this, but many of my friends have, is that road is only open for like 3 months out of the year because it's covered in snow. So there's usually a 2 to 3 week window before they open the road to vehicles that they open it to bicycles.
Wow.
So what a lot of people do is they get an e-bike, and then you get to e-bike that road and then come back down. And your e-bike the battery only lasts about half of the ride. So a lot of people use it like to go the up part, and then they just kind of coast down. That's on my bucket list. That's on my bucket list of things to do, but you have to like really figure out the timing on that. Like the snow doesn't even usually lift until like mid-July in Glacier. Okay. So, but that's on my list of like national park things I would love to do and haven't done yet.
That is super cool. There's also the historic red cars that you can ride to take you up. I think they're old looking Ford cars. They're beautiful. You can take those as well. There's so many glaciers, so amazing. All right, sorry, that's your honorable mention. So this is going to be an 18-hour podcast.
Are better than this.
I know.
Well, Glacier it was a difficult decision. Okay, my other honorable mention very quickly is any of the southern Utah parks, the Mighty Five. I think those parks all are unique from one another, but they all feel very otherworldly, and you get to do very interesting experiences in those parks that are not like other parks.
So wait, so this is Bryce, Zion, Canyonlands,
Arches.
Joe knows everything.
And Capitol Reef. And they're all within southern Utah. You can drive them in a big circle. They're all like 1 to 2 hours from one another. And even though they're so close together, each still has its own unique kind of thumbprint as far as how it looks. And some very interesting hikes in those places, some very interesting views. It looks like you're on Mars a lot of the time.
That's cool.
It's like my favorite hike in the national park system is the Narrows, which is a part of Zion. And I think it's where you're hiking through a riverbed and you're in this slot canyon with these big canyon walls. And in addition to being at those parks, all of that area just has other stuff outside of the parks. Like we spent months and months there and feel like we just barely scratched the surface. So Southern Utah is my other honorable mention.
That's fabulous. The only one of those that I've done is Zion.
Oh,
That's the only one I've done. Yes. And the Angel's Landing hike is one of my all-time favorite hikes. And it's also the one that I will never recommend anybody ever do, Crystal.
Oh,
it's scary. I didn't do. Did you do the full hike, Joe? Because I stopped at Scouts Landing, which is just before the section of the chains. Yeah.
Cheryl went up those stairs, the back and forth.
Walter's Wiggles.
Walter's Wiggles. Yes.
Yeah.
Up to Scouts Landing. They had rangers up there, and they had some big birds they were talking about, which was interesting. And then Cheryl looked at the Angel's Landing hike, which Crystal, there is, they have drilled into the rock, these posts, and then they put a chain. And the reason there's a chain is because there in some places is maybe 4 feet with 1,000-foot drop on both sides, And you're hanging onto this chain.
One arm.
You're going up this mountaintop that almost looks like a backbone, just kind of like bent, and those are the little stairs you're taking. I watched the YouTube video and felt satisfied enough.
Yeah, that would be
I
me.
let my sister go on and do it. She said she would do it once and never again, but she said it was worth it.
That was me too. It was funny. On the way out there, I was going so slow. And what drove me crazy was there were teenagers who were going about twice the speed I was. And that's the problem, is they're passing you and they're wiggling the chain. And if you let go of the chain, if you stumble at all, you're dead. You cannot stumble or you're dead. And people die there every year on this hike.
Oh no! Okay,
in the past year, they've like really put a lot of permitting around that, so they can squeeze the numbers down, so less people are going, so they have less of that congestion issue that makes it dangerous. And I was there this summer, and I wasn't trying to go, but just out of curiosity. It's like they only allow so many people to do the chains now.
Good.
Everyone else is free reign to get up to the Scouts Landing before that, which I was actually happy to read because I felt like it would make it a more enjoyable experience and safer, honestly.
The other hike that we did there was the high walls where you put the water, you put on waders.
Yes, the Narrows.
Yes.
Yeah. That's a great hike. I've done it about 3 times now, and it's so fun. I never tire of that hike. But yeah, the water's so cold. I've done it in December and November and July, and you rent these neoprene pants and these water shoes, and you take this big stick because you're walking on all these big rocks, and
you're basically hiking up a river, Crystal.
Oh.
And sometimes there's pathways along the river, but in lots of places it's so narrow, the canyon's narrow, and it goes straight up on both sides, and you just have to go in the river. So you are walking in the river, not on a trail
path. Wow.
Yeah. And those walls are like this bright orange color, and they're so beautiful. It's a cool experience. I will say, this last time I did it, I think I busted it 3 times because the water was a lot higher. The water at one point when I was there in July was like chest height. There was a section that was chest high.
Oh, Lord.
So I went in prepared, and then I lost my footing a few times, and I was like fully in the water,
Nope.
But
not it.
We had a friend.
Fun. It was fun.
We had a friend, we were afraid she was going to drown because the water got up over her waders and it was pouring into her waders, which then, become, then they become anchors. She decided to take a, quote, shortcut and learned that she shouldn't have taken a shortcut. Going the other way. Yeah. We almost lost Christy. Okay.
Jeez.
Your favorite.
So wait, what park was that one?
That's Zion National Park.
Mm-hmm. Okay. In Utah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay.
My favorite park
Drum roll.
is Olympic National Park in Washington.
I'm headed back there in 2 weeks.
You are? That's exciting. So you have been. Then.
We made a mistake, though. So my son lives in Seattle, and we made a mistake, which was if you're staying in Seattle, do not try to do a day trip out to Olympic National Park. It's too far away. We got there. We did the whole rainforest walk. And we did one other walk, and then we kind of drove along the edge of the water. So we saw just the pretty views along the edge of the water. But that's it. Basically, we hiked for maybe 2 hours and drove back home.
Yeah. That's the thing about Olympic. I think if you are going to do Olympic, you need to understand it takes time. I have people message me all the time like, oh, can I do Olympic in 2 days? I'm like, you cannot do Olympic. It takes time to get there because you have to get in to Seattle, and then it's a 4-hour drive really to get into the park. And then the park is very large, and it has a lot of different regions to it, which is why I love it. It has a mountain region called Hurricane Ridge it looks almost like the Alps in some places. There's some cool scenic overviews. There's some really wonderful hikes, short hikes, overnight hikes, things like that. It has a rainforest region that includes some hikes, and there's actually several rainforest regions kind of scattered throughout. It obviously has a coastal region that is very spread out along most of the coast of Washington and has some interesting beach hikes, and the beaches there all look very different. And then it also has a lake section that is just gorgeous. So all of those regions, it requires a lot of driving if you're going to try to get to everything. And I just think a lot of the park, there's activities to do, but there's also things that you just want to immerse yourself in and enjoy. Like Go have a lake day at the most beautiful lake, go enjoy, just be at the mountains, go be at the beach. And I think a lot of people are like, how much can I check off this list of things I'm seeing? And they don't really give the time that park is due. So
we're not going to spend enough time again because it's just a long weekend. I'm giving a talk. I'm giving a talk in Seattle, but we did learn our lesson. We're going 2 days now instead of one. Good. And we've already done the rainforest piece. But I got to tell you, I never got the heartbeat. Like, when you feel like you got the heartbeat of the park, like there's always, like at White Sands, I didn't get it at first. And then we went all the way to the back. And when I made it to the back, then I was like, oh, here's the heartbeat. But we took all the nice little walks ahead of time, the nature walks on the way out there. And I got a feel for it. But when I reached the back of the park, I'm like, oh, here we are. I still haven't gotten the heartbeat of Olympic. Like I don't really feel like I know it.
It's hard because it feels a bit disjointed. And like, it's like, when you go to Glacier, you're in the park and you're out of the park. Olympic is like, I'm in this part of the park. Now I'm driving to this other part. Am I in the park? Am I out of the park? It feels a little disjointed because it is all these different biospheres and regions. And that's one thing that makes it interesting. It's incredibly diverse in that way. But I understand what you're saying. Like it is a little bit hard to figure out, like, what's the through line here? I don't think it has one. I just don't think it has one. Yeah.
Well, that's good. Then I didn't miss it. There just isn't one.
No, there just isn't one. It's like it has these 4 sections and each one has its own vibe. And it's like just drop in and do what you can there, One thing, so I'm from the South. So I think one reason that park appeals to me is it is such a diverse nature than what I experienced growing up, right? So the coast there is way different than like the Gulf Coast. It's like sea stacks. It's sometimes the sand is black. Sometimes the sand is purple. Sometimes it's white. It's going out there and understanding like the tide charts. Well, I forgot to mention this. I lived in Olympic for 4 months. One thing that the parks have is they have a really awesome volunteer program, and they were looking for campground hosts. And so we signed up, my sister and we were campground hosts for a whole summer at Olympic. So I did get to do a lot more than the average visitor did. And
what you have to do as a host?
Every park does it a little bit differently. Olympic was free place to park my camper with full hookups in exchange for 3 days worth of just existing in the park and answering questions. And if a ranger needed help, like checking fire pits or checking people in or things like that, it was minimal work.
Wow.
And I got to, we stayed at 2 different campgrounds during that time period. One was at Claylock Beach, which is their more traditional style beach where you can just walk out and it's just sand. And another one was called Rialto, and it has one of the most famous hikes at Olympic. And that beach there, instead of sand, it's all rocks. So that's a really interesting beach vibe. And there's like this 2-mile walk you can only do at low tide. And it takes you out to this place called Hole in the Wall, which is just basically a sea stack that has a big hole in it. And you can only walk through there when it's low tide. And so that's one of the things about Olympic is like, again, it's the science of it. Like we always had a tide chart. What time is low tide today? What time is high tide? There are certain things you only can do with the tides. I think that's interesting, I love the wildlife there. Olympic has, they have all the sea wildlife. Like my favorite thing to do at Olympic is to go tide pooling. So it's like, what time is low tide today? And then go out, and all these sea stacks, these big rocks coming out of the sand have living creatures in them. And they have some of the best tide pooling in America is out there. So you can go out with your boots on and just look for sea stars. You'll find hundreds and hundreds of them. Anemones. Every once in a while you run into an octopus, sea snails. I mean, it's just, it's so fun to see things like that in the wild. And
that's so cool.
I love that.
Yeah, I never heard of that either.
Yeah. So that's the beach part of Olympic. The lake there is just gorgeous, and there's some beautiful things around the lake that you can hike and do there. I think that drive Joe mentioned where you're driving along the lake is just like really beautiful with these huge evergreens. Again, that's not the trees I grew up with. So I think part of it for me is like, I'm just in awe of that. It's so different than what I'm used to.
Yeah. We also, for us to get there, you can go a really long way there, or you can take a ferry. We already made sure we secured our ferry ticket. So if you're going there from Seattle, secure your ferry ticket ahead of time. It still is first person in line, first person on the boat, but taking ferries around Seattle, I've never had a problem getting on the boat that I want to get on.
I love doing that. It makes it a fun, I think it's fun adventure just getting to Olympic, honestly. I think it's, you take the ferry. I never did that growing up. It's just not part of our world here. So that's an interesting extra thing you get to do.
We ate at a cool breakfast restaurant in one of the cute little towns on the way out there too, which made it really fun. Let's talk about a park that you kind of rolled your eyes at. Has there been one? Has there been a park where you go,
Yeah. I mean, okay, let's not even discuss like Hot Springs in St. Louis.
Hot Springs is amazing.
I think I grew up going there, and so I'm like, oh, whatever.
Yeah, it's 2 hours from my house. I go there all the time. I go there constantly. To your point, the bathhouse row, do that once. You never need to do it again. But the cool little mountains around there and the little mountain hiking, I like. But yes.
Yeah. And that's a testament to what I was saying earlier. All the parks have a lot of extra stuff around them that are cool. And I have been to actual real natural hot springs, which I think is what Hot Springs was before it became what it is now. So I understand why it is marked a park and everything. I just feel it's a downer. But the park,
it is. Okay, Hot Springs is a sad, dilapidated town in a lot of ways. Man. Yeah, I mean, it's past its prime. It is so quaint, though. I took my nephews there just a couple of weeks ago when they were visiting, and they loved it. Like, they thought it was fantastic. But I've stayed at the Arlington Hotel, the big hotel. And I swear to God, my room was haunted, Crystal. It's just, and it is, and it needs to be updated so bad. I mean, and it is sad, but I've been there so many times now. There's a fun to the sadness. I don't know. It is a little melancholy though. Yeah. But you're right. The arch for me is, come on.
Yeah.
There was a FinCon there.
We did have FinCon there. That was actually the only time I've been to that one. So maybe I need to give it another go. I don't know.
But it truly is just a national monument. It's not really a national park.
I don't understand why it's a park. Okay. But I do want to say I have a bit of a spicy take about what is an underwhelming park. And people are going to not like this. But I think Acadia in Maine is an underwhelming park. And I love the culture in Maine. I love the seacoast culture. I did a lot of cool things there. We spent a summer there. And I think the park is beautiful. But I think it's like built up to be like this most amazing thing. And I felt a little underwhelmed when I got there. It didn't quite meet. Maybe it's overrated to me. Now, so I know people love it.
Well, I think it depends. Because I've been there and Cheryl and I were running what Runner's World called the most beautiful marathon in the United States, which runs around Acadia. It doesn't go through, but it runs, what's it called? Mount Desert, that area.
Mount Desert Island. That's the island that it's on. Yeah. Yeah.
So it is the Mount Desert, Acadia, marathon. And it was so hilly, but we were there in Bar Harbor the last week that Bar Harbor's open. The colors were just unbelievably gorgeous. I'm running down this one lane road and the colors are just popping and leaves, when the wind blows, the leaves are slowly falling around us. And we turn a corner off this road and on our left, there's one of these little inlets with fishing trawlers. And there's a dude who's standing on top of the cabin at the top of the fishing trawler, and he has his radio in his hand because a fishing trawler has these big, huge, speakers. And he's talking into his little thing, and he's going, "Woman in the pink, fantastic, great run. You're doing great. Man in the blue, you can do this." I've never been I have never been
that's
cheered
cute.
on by a troller before, by a dude on a troller. It was so amazing.
He's a troller, get it?
He was a troller. The troller.
I mean, I had a good time at that park. Don't get me wrong, and I do think it's pretty. And I really like Bar Harbor. I liked all the things there.
I think it's pronounced Bahaba, by the way.
Yeah, Bahaba. And I had a crab dip there that I still dream about. So I mean, it hits some high points, but I just think I had it built up in my mind that this is so amazing. And I think the West Coast beaches and the views of those maybe overshadowed it for me. So
my favorite part of that park, Libby, before you go on, my favorite part of the park was the part that nobody visits, which is there's a South Acadia Park, which is the main park that has the whirlpool piece and Mount Washington and all that stuff in it.
Yeah.
You can go way around the bay to the north side. I thought the north side was fantastic.
Yes, I did like the north side. Is that where the lighthouse? There's a lighthouse out there, isn't there? And we did some tide pooling out there, and we saw some cool things. So yeah, we did that. And it was that. You're right. That was a good part of the park. Yeah,
and it was empty. It was just there was nobody there, which was fantastic.
I do like they have some really cool bike trails there, and I did a fun hike. I did a fun hike called the Bee Hive or something like that there, and it did have good things. I don't want to dog on it, but we did the walk around the lake. We were there for a marathon, so I didn't do a lot because we wanted to conserve our energy.
Yeah.
But there's a thing, I think it's called John's Pond. And we walked around this beautiful pond. It's like maybe a 2-mile hike around this beautiful pond. And then we did, of course, this is something anybody has to do that goes to Acadia, which is go to the top of Mount Washington for sunrise. Because you will be the first person when you're up there, Crystal. You're the first person in the lower 48 to see the sun that day. Wow. If you're on the top of the mountain, it was gorgeous. That was really a gorgeous experience. Yeah. My favorite. Maybe I do like it. Maybe I do. My favorite part of that story. Well, to your point about the beauty too. So you're up there and there's a bunch of people up there, but everybody's really quiet just because it's so serene. There was a cruise ship coming into Bar Harbor just at sunrise. And so it was all lit up and sparkly and cool looking as it's slowly making its way. And you can see Bar Harbor below you and the cruise ship coming in. It was this just picturesque view. The funniest thing though that happened, we were up there. So we go there, we see the amazing sunrise. 100% agree with you, Libby. It was amazing. Cheryl and I are walking back to our car along with everybody. And this blonde woman in a hurry comes running the opposite way. And you can see this look on her face, which is, I don't have to describe because 10 feet behind her is a dude with a baseball cap. And he has a look on his face as well. And he is chasing her. And you can tell which one of the two of them slept in too long and was the reason they missed the sunrise. This woman was she was so pissed. And she was running out there, hope against hope. And now everybody's going back to the car. So she knows she missed it. Damn. And her face was like, damn it. And his face was like, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. Oops. I'm so sorry. That dude was going to have a bad day. He was going to have a really bad day. Oh, yeah. All right. I was going to say, one of my favorite things I did at Acadia was I went sea kayaking there. Oh. And I'd never done that before. When it's like where you get like buttoned into a kayak, and they had a guide and he took us out and we kind of sort of kayaked around the perimeter of Bar Harbor and into a little bit into the park. And that was a very cool experience. We found like sea stars out there, which they look different than they do at Olympic. And also they have these mini porpoises that like, there was like 100 of them came like towards us and we had to like paddle away. Goodness. Wow. That was a very, very fun experience. So maybe I need to roll back my opinion on Acadia.
Well, I'm glad we talked about it.
Well, I like the fact that your worst one was pretty damn cool.
Yeah.
You know?
That's true. I mean, again, I think they all have something to offer. Maybe not the arch, but they all have something to offer, you know, that's worth seeing.
Yeah. The arch is worth seeing. It just isn't a national park.
Yeah. Right. Yeah.
Did you stay in the RV when you were there? Did you camp?
Yeah, we camped. Maine is one of the only East Coast states that has they have an amazing state park system. And the East Coast is really difficult to camp in with an RV. But we stayed at some cool state parks there. And then there's actually an RV park that has like 200 campsites right outside of Bar Harbor. I think it's called Bar Harbor RV Park. And we stayed there, and you can take a shuttle from there into the national park if you want to do that. Oh, nice. Or a shuttle from there into Bar Harbor, which I really like the town of Bar Harbor. I think it's cute and quaint and great stuff there. So yeah, we camped there. We've camped at 27 national parks. I looked on my list before I came on to the
wow.
Yeah, I think I've been to around 40, but we took the RV to 27. So I feel good about that number.
I think we're right around 40 as well. With national parks. I literally 5 minutes before we went live, I'm like, I should have counted them up so that Libby and I could compare.
I keep a little spreadsheet. Yeah, I keep a little spreadsheet, and I click off which years I've been to them and how many times I've been to them. I don't know. I like to keep up with it.
So the RV is parked now. Like if people wanted to fly in and join you on a leg.
I transitioned out of full-time RVing this past year. So it is permanently parked, and I haven't used it in almost a year now. But I did, so I'm living in Louisiana now, but I actually purchased, I think 2 years ago or a year and a half ago, I purchased a rooftop camper for my SUV. And so I've done a lot of car camping in parks in the last year and a half or so.
Cool.
So that's kind of, that's a new way to do it. It's a little bit more nimble, and I can get into parks at the last minute. Because just like about the lodges filling up, the campgrounds fill up so quickly as well. But if I'm just going to go in for like 1 or 2 nights here, I can do that. And we also, with the RV and for me with the camper tent top, we stayed on a lot of public land. The Bureau of Land Management is federally owned land all over America. There's more of it as you go west, but you can stay on those properties for free or for like $10 or $15 a night. So a lot, like when we went to Glacier, we stayed, there's like in any national forest also usually has free camping. You just have to like be prepared with your own water, your own electricity if you need that, solar panels or whatever. So that's how we made our travel cost effective, was doing that. Now, I mean, we have the upfront cost of the rig and everything we need to do in order to camp an RV. But for us, over time, we learned that camping on BLM or private, public land really cut the cost down. What Utah has like 50% of that state is public land. So it's the best place if you want to try that kind of accommodations. It's a great place to try it. You can take your tent, you can take a camper, we
saw it all over around Zion, just people like it literally looked like they pulled off the road and just went anywhere.
Yeah. There's a lot of that in Washington. Like in Olympic, we didn't talk about where to stay really, but there's a lot of national forest there. So national forest roads kind of go back in, and they'll have little campsites just off of there. And you can just stay overnight. So I've really done a lot more of that. Well, we did a lot of that with the RV, but I've done a lot more of that with the tent top as well. I'll do like 1 or 2 nights. Like I went to Glacier on my way to somewhere else, and I was like, 2 hours from Glacier, got to stop. And I was able to get a last minute campsite for 1 night. And then I stayed in the national forest outside of the park for the second night. So it's an easy way for me to do it. I feel comfortable doing it. I know that's not everybody's jam, but it works well for me.
It is mine. We just have never gotten the equipment. And so we stayed, when we were at Acadia, we stayed at it was called the Chocolate Chip Airbnb. And it was actually called the Chocolate Chip Inn, but it was an Airbnb inn, and these people were so nice. It was so cool.
That's awesome.
We're staying when we go to Olympic, because there's all those cute little towns. We're staying at a neat little tiny family run hotel. I don't even remember the name, but it is. But I'll report on it later. I don't.
Tell me
I should have had I known we were going to talk Olympic. I would have been prepared, but I will come back with a trip report for everybody.
Yes, please. Or tell me where you're staying. I'll give you all the great places. I mean,
I will definitely text you. Oh no, I'm definitely texting you because
okay, good.
Yes.
Yeah, let me say this because about Olympic really quickly. I think it's one of the hardest parks to find accommodations, and because there's so little within the park itself, and the park is so spread out. I think people find that to be challenging, and sometimes they decide I'm just going to not deal with it. And my advice on Olympic is, it's okay to stay in a different place each night. It makes if you can, it makes your trip a little bit more efficient, honestly. It's like you can stay a night in the mountain section. You can stay a night at the lake. You can stay a night at the beach, and that's okay. And number one, it makes it easier. Like if you're just looking for one night, it might be okay. And then it's like, you're not having to drive out, drive back, drive out, drive back.
Right.
And also Washington has a lot of like off the internet places. So like Google Maps is your friend. Just like get on Google Maps, scour the map. Okay, this looks like a cool little cabin. What are they? How do I reach them? They're not on Airbnb all the time or Hip Camp or anything like that. It's like they're just rural people hosting places, but they aren't savvy on how to make like a big website and get on all the listing pages. So it takes work.
Airbnb and
work.
Hip Camp is what you use?
Yeah, Hip Camp is it's like Airbnb but for camping.
Nice.
So privately owned camp spots, or maybe someone who like has a farm and they have a place you can come and set up your tent or set up your RV.
Oh,
cabins. A lot of cabins are listed on Hip Camp. It's a great resource.
Okay.
Adventures, we blew right through our road trip pit stop. You know how, Crystal, you're having one of these great conversations and you realize...
Look at the time.
Yeah, you're driving along and the miles have gone away. We didn't even have our pit stop. So I'm just going to tell everybody, now that the music's coming up, tell everybody about the gear of the day. I'm going to have you two ladies get to guess.
Yes.
I'm going to give you hints about the gear of the day. So here is the thing. Let me see if I can. How can I describe our gear of the day? It comes in handy specifically at national parks. What I love about this gear of the day is it makes your trips to the park much easier. What could go wrong? Why would it stink? If you don't go to national parks a ton, you could end up wasting a bunch of money on this particular piece of gear. So it's not specifically for hiking or for lodging or for wearing. It's not for any of those things. It just makes the process easier.
Is it an annual pass? Is it an annual pass?
Ooh, I like that.
It is the annual pass, Libby. Nice job.
No, really?
It is absolutely. A lot of our national parks are free. Indiana Dunes is one of the parks that are free. When we went to Great Basin National Park, yes. So it's at Great Basin National Park. That was free. It was great. But the cool thing about it, though, Crystal, is that it's $80. In fact, let me pull up all these. It's $80 for everyone. If you're 62 years old or older, here's the cool thing: you can either buy an annual pass for $20. Or listen to this. You spend $80 and it's forever. Spend $80 and you never buy it again. Yes, absolutely.
Oh, Leonidas said first one to guess the GOTD.
The military annual pass, free. If you're in the military lifetime pass. If you're a Gold Star family member, it is free. U.S. citizens and permanent residents with permanent disabilities, it's free. If you're a fourth grader, it's free. So annual pass.
Fourth grader or under, or just the fourth grade?
No, fourth grade specifically.
It's a program they do. Fourth graders and their families can get in free to all the parks.
Yeah.
Also, the annual pass is a good deal. It covers everybody that fits in your car. So it's not just like one person. It's like everybody who's in your car gets to go in, you know?
So a pass gets you into any
it's fantastic.
national park.
Yeah. Yeah, if not, you're going to pay per park when you go. So I think if you're going to go to 2 or more parks, get you an annual pass.
Okay.
Absolutely. Yes.
Okay. Oh, and then Leonidas also says if you're on Medicaid, it's free for you and your family.
Excellent.
Thanks for that info too.
Well, that's fantastic.
Sounds like someone has a pass too in our chat.
Well, Libby, so let's do this before we say goodbye. You work with travel creators. If somebody is as a member of our community, they're one of our adventurers, but they also have their own travel stuff. Let's talk about TravelCon for a minute. When is it? How does it work?
Sure. TravelCon is a business event for travel content creators. So if you're writing about travel, or you're YouTubing, you're doing a podcast, it's for you. And we're helping you learn how to create better content, how to grow your audience, and how to monetize what you're doing. Our next event is coming up in March, 14th to the 16th in Tucson. And it's a great time. We have, you can come hang out with other travel creators. We have destinations and boards, travel brands are there. You can do one-on-one meetings, maybe learning about what they need, how they want to partner with other creators. Our education sessions are all creator-led. So it's a good time. This is our second year to be doing it. The team that we are now doing that, and we've had a great experience so far. And it's a lot of fun. It's fun to be with other people who are passionate about travel.
Yes. I'll be there. I'll be moderating a panel.
More at TravelCon, travelcon.org.
Yeah, Crystal and I have talked about just how much fun we've had doing this podcast ever since we started the Adventures podcast. It's just fun. Obviously, we were into this discussion. Holy cow.
I learned so much that I had no clue.
I can't believe you haven't been to a national park, Crystal.
Well, I learned I've been to a national park, but I didn't like the sand
Well, you've been to the
dunes,
state
you were
park.
Saying, Libby. Oh, see, and that's a state park.
Yeah, you were right next door to the national park.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Interesting.
But good stuff. All right. Let's say goodbye to everybody. Thank you so much, Libby. TravelCon, TravelCon.org. She is Crystal.
And I'm Joe. He's Joe. It's just natural to say that.
We'll see you next time, everybody.
Thanks for listening.